Now, we're talking sports. It's time for the Saturday Sports Countdown with Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson. Auburn, Alabama, around the SEC, and around the nation. This is the Saturday Sports Countdown. To be a part of the program, call 256-234-6221. Now, let's join Brett, Randy, and Luke for the Saturday Sports Countdown.
To ensure your cart is always in tip-top shape, call Jim Hadaway today at 745-0660 or visit them at 618 Lee Road 113 or funcarts.net and have your cart delivered tomorrow. Fun Carts of Opelika, your easy-go dealer. Put a little fun in your life.
Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430, and visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control, when the problem has to stop, guaranteed. Are tires and car repairs sexy? No. But when you shop for tires, maintenance, or AC service at S&S Discount Tire in Alex City or Dadeville, you'll find they're the total package you'll take home to meet mama. With S&S's selection, fast turnaround, and quality work the first time, you'll get the long-term relationship you've been looking for. Start an online relationship at sandstire.com. The tires and car repair total package.
When you want a quality pre-owned car, truck, or van, Lake Martin Truck and Auto wants to give you credit. Walk in and ride out. It doesn't matter what skeletons are in your credit closet. Lake Martin Truck and Auto has Lake Martin's best selection of hand-picked late to mid-model cars. Lake Martin Truck and Auto also gives you credit for your good credit with low rates and easy terms on all models. And if a straight buy is your need, Lake Martin Truck and Auto will not be beat on a sales price because your cash is king. Take your credit to the walking man's friend, Lake Martin Truck and Auto on Dadeville Road in Alexander City.
The Sure Shot is locally owned and operated by Kim and Woody Baird. The Sure Shot now has a complete line of Kimber, Springfield, and 6-hour 1911s, as well as a complete selection of your tactical long guns with Springfield M18s and Remington VTRs now in stock. The Sure Shot has the latest in elite archery bows and the Bowtech Destroyer. Don't forget to check out their Carhartt boots and Browning clothing line. Stop by or call 256-329-0080 or visit them online, thesureshot.us. The Sure Shot, Lake Martin Sportsman's Headquarters.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Andy Graham and Scott Hardy here with you until noon today, taking your phone calls, discussing everything going on in the world of sports. A lot of great discussions we're having on this beautiful Saturday morning. A lot going on out there in the sports world. Of course, Auburn and Alabama in action today on the hard court in basketball, on the baseball diamond and softball diamond as well. So we'll talk about a lot of those things. Auburn hires Brian Blackman from Opelika as an analyst. Very interesting move there. Alabama hires their offensive coordinator, Brian Dabble. So we'll talk about these things and much more. The Alabama High School Athletics Association basketball playoffs. Know something that's near and dear to Scott's heart. So we'll talk about that a little bit, preview some of those games that will be going on this week and this weekend there at the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center. But I think we'll open this segment today talking a little bit about Ole Miss and the trouble that has befallen the Magnolia State. Ole Miss, Colonel Reb is crying again, Scott, and it just seemed like this has been an ongoing investigation, been going on, I guess, really for, 4 years now. It started out, I think, 13 rules violations were brought against Ole Miss. Now they have come back after re-looking into it. This, of course, after the draft and the Laramie Tunsil situation and some different things came to light. They the NCAA has come back with 8 new infractions. It looks like Ole Miss is being hit with the dreaded 4 words that no college program ever wants to hear: lack of institutional controls. So Ole Miss has already implemented a self-imposed 1-year bowl ban. They didn't go to. They put that into effect last year. They're extending that over this year, so they will not be able to share in any of the revenue, which will be close to $8 million next year, and they will not go to a bowl. At least we'll see what charges the NCAA brings against them, or at least not the charges, but the penalties. Ole Miss self-imposing some scholarship limitations as well, but with these new infractions, it's going from bad to worse. And I don't know. I guess maybe I'd like to get your opinion on all these things, but I guess ultimately maybe what it comes down to is, does Hugh Freeze survive this?
Negative. I really was a big fan of Hugh Freeze. I like when coaches have the opportunity to coach at their dream school and really start to build a program. And I really feel silly, honestly, because I remember this time last year, and Brett and I were doing sports call one day, and I asked the question. It might have been I asked, had Ole Miss kind of taken Auburn's spot, or do recruits perceive Ole Miss to be a better program than Auburn? And looking at it, I was like, they were on the right track of, at least perception-wise, of being that. He had an increase in wins each season he'd been there, and the recruiting classes were starting to come in, and there was a national recognition for them that wasn't there previously. So internally, I think a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but I thought that Ole Miss was kind of starting to take that spot. But overall, there was a reason why that was happening, and if you really did look at it, there was no reason why. I mean, you hate to say it, but somebody like a Kim Dichie, like, why was he going to Ole Miss, regardless if his brother was there, whatever's happening there? Like, why are you going there when you're coming off a 6-6 team and you have a coach who nobody knows who that is? And the state of the program was just not good. But the way Hugh Freeze has tried to, which that's his job ultimately, to protect himself in the program, but how he tried to always dismiss it and say it wasn't a big deal. Like, I would never point blank say, no, this isn't happening, when at some point, if it's happening, because he knows all this is happening if you're the head coach. So for it to go on this long, it's really kind of just an indictment of how silly I sounded earlier last year. So I do want to call myself out on that one and say how terrible that is now. But overall, I don't think Hugh Freeze can survive this. I think if you're Ole Miss, you probably sooner than later want to start to distance yourself from him, because I don't think they'll get the full-blown death penalty, but they're going to get probably some of the most severe punishments we've seen from a program that wasn't, a Penn State, something that wasn't necessarily athletically related. But this will be not SMU, but close, I think.
Yeah, used to, when you hear a school being accused of lack of institutional control, you automatically assumed Great Depression for the fan base. However, in this day and age, I mean, you look at North Carolina, you look at Miami. I mean, what's become of those situations now? I mean, we talk about the NCAA being a toothless organization, and for the most part, we've seen that played out in the last several years. I think on the surface it looks like that, and it looks like maybe they're going to try to make an example of Ole Miss. We'll see what happens, but I'm not ready to go ahead and start closing up shop there in Oxford quite yet. But I don't know. You bring up some interesting points, and it comes back to recruiting, obviously. Some of the accusations, and actually some of these are not being denied by Ole Miss, that they made some cash payments, or at least this is the words of Ross Bjork, the AD there at Ole Miss. He said, talking about these allegations being serious, he said, but we will vigorously defend the university against the allegations that we believe are not appropriately supported, including that we lacked institutional control and that our head coach did not promote an atmosphere of compliance or monitor staff in the football program. In other words, they lied to the NCAA. That's one of the accusations, and he's basically saying that there is some credible evidence that these things took place. We're talking about thousands of dollars to recruits from boosters. We're talking about lying base, vehicles, lodging, these kind of things, cash handouts, and then being less than honest with the NCAA. And that last one, seems to be the biggest, being dishonest about all these things. If you come out and be forward and straightforward at the beginning, it seems like it goes a little better for you. But now it seems like that's the problem that Ole Miss is in. Not only were these things, and another report, you don't know how credible this is, but talking about Robert Kimdichie in somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000. Did I see that report?
He got the cam package, man.
Wow, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that you bring up North Carolina, you bring up Miami, do you think now because of the conference that Ole Miss is in that maybe they do try to go after them a little tougher to kind of slap the SEC some? Do you think that maybe changes how lenient they are with them?
That's a good question. That probably plays into it to some degree. Although the SEC, what people have said the last 2 years, and maybe they've taken a step back. So I'm not sure, but I mean, it does have that notorious, kind of moniker that goes along with it. That we've been, in and out, or the SEC has been kind of known for this kind of behavior. So I just want to kind of see how it all plays out. But I'm like you. I like Hugh Freeze, and this is such a we were chatting about politics before the show today. And I always go back to Roger Clemens. And, absolutely, categorically, didn't take anything he says. Didn't happen. You got another guy over here saying the exact opposite. You got Hugh Freeze that says, and by all rights, everybody says, good Christian guy. He speaks at these youth groups and things. He says, I have no idea what's going on. You got one or two people, rogue people, that are doing these things. And you tell me you don't know anything of what's going on with all of these things coming out. Somebody's lying, Scott.
Before we go to break, I'll say this. I know if you're really hip to the hip hop culture right now, but Future,
I am.
Future dropped a new album yesterday, and one of the lines he said was, "I'll say nothing before I tell a lie." Before I tell you a lie. So that's kind of weird. Like, I would not say anything before I came out and told a lie on myself. So kind of correlating the two there. So get you a little future knowledge there today, Andy Graham.
I appreciate that. I'll take that to heart. Up against the break here, but don't go anywhere. There'll be more of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Meet Bob. Bob just bought a new Camry. He loves it. Now, meet Bob's neighbor, Ted. Ted just bought a 2016 Sonata Sport at Hyundai of Auburn. He loves it and that it was built locally. But what Ted really loves are the savings. His Sonata costs $2,000 less than Bob's Camry. Plus, Ted will make no payments for 6 months. Visit HyundaiofAuburn.com for links to compare various models, features, and prices. What will you do with the money you save?
Don't you know there's no clean like Peaches and Clean?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Call us up at Peaches and Clean.
Your comfort is our number one concern. Advanced heat and air. Residential, commercial work. Any reason, call us first. Installation or emergencies. Trust our technicians and reliability. Your comfort is our number one concern. Advanced heat and air.
It's a new year and a great time to get into a Ford at Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City. Tallapoosa Ford is clearing out the 2016 models with 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $1,500 in rebates on select models and rebates as high as $6,500. See Tallapoosa Ford for details or visit TallapoosaFord.net.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. Come by today and get your best deal on America's best truck. We don't want all the business, just the opportunity to earn yours.
Can't wait to try these wings.
I know. And apparently this spicy honey barbecue sauce is so good, it'll change your life.
Yeah?
Mom and Dad, can I borrow the car?
Our son's in a boy band?
We have a son?
Life-changing? Maybe. Indescribably good? Definitely. The boneless wings meal with spicy honey barbecue sauce, served with crinkle fries and a small drink. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
The world is ever-changing. Make sure your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of their national championship-winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of the 4 convenient locations: Alexander City, Childersburg, Talladega, and now in Millbrook. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success. CACC.edu.
Register now. Spring semester classes begin January 9th.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Andy and Scott here with you until noon today, talking about anything and everything in the world of sports. Talking about, of course, Ole Miss and all their problems that they're dealing with right now. Infractions from the NCAA. We'll see what kind of punishment they end up dealing with. It's been a long time since we've seen the death penalty, and I don't think that's in play here for Ole Miss, but they will get hammered. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Kind of fitting, hotty toddy hammered,
That's actually probably a good analogy there, Scotty. Well, we'll talk a little bit about high school sports now, the AHSAA basketball playoffs, and we've been running these down all week now. We are now down to the Final Four in each classification, so we'll preview those matchups a little bit. Of course, Brett and Luke and Randy and a lot of the guys, maybe even Scott, who knows. We'll see if he gets there or not, but we'll be doing the games for the AHSA radio network. These games will be brought to you. I think you can go to ahsaa.com or go to Sports Blitz Live, and I think I'm sure the guys have a link there if you want to listen to some of these games. Again, these will be at Legacy Arena at the BJCC. We'll start out with 7A classification on the boys' side. Auburn will be taking on Vestavia Hills. This one will be this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. McGill-Tulane versus Mountain Brook Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Auburn, again, kind of a new team on the block here, but had a great season. Vestavia Hills kind of been around for a while. McGill-Tulane, you see that name continuing to pop up over and over again, and then Mountain Brook. They defeated Huffman 56-52 earlier. Mountain Brook, another team that's been just seems perennial there in the playoffs, Scott.
Yeah, and with the 7A classification, with the Final Four, you have probably one of my favorite players in the state, and then my favorite coach as well in the state. Mountain Brook's Buck McMillan, I think, is one of the greatest coaches, not only from a high school level, but on any level. I like that he's brought in kind of a new school. Speaking of millennials, he kind of went on a more of an analytical side of the basketball game, and he strictly he promotes the shooting of the three and layups, really no jump shots, because statistically speaking, you have a better chance of making the other two. And then obviously Garrison Brooks with Auburn, who I really didn't think that they were going to make a run. Benjamin Russell we had the opportunity to see them play a couple times this year, and they weren't that impressive. Obviously they made it to the Final Four, but I didn't think they were a Final Four team. But I think they're capable of beating Vestavia. And I think Mountain Brook will be right back in it. So I'm looking at it to probably be like an Auburn-Mountain Brook championship game in 7A.
That would be very interesting. On the girls' side, Central Phoenix City will take on Hoover on Thursday at 9 a.m. McGill-Tulane will be taking on Spain Park Thursday at noon. Moving over to the 6A boys, Paul Bryant defeated Pelham. Alex Reese and Pelham, one of the, I think, number one team in the state in 6A. They go down to Paul Bryant. So Paul Bryant will be taking on Austin, who just ran minor out of the gym. Spanish Fort, back again. Boy, Spanish Fort just –
they're getting everything, guys.
Yeah, they're just getting everything. That's a good way to put it. Versus Parker. Parker took down Oxford pretty much with ease in the regional finals. Both those games will be taking place Wednesday. Again, you know anything about any of these teams, Scott?
Well, Paul Bryant has been really good in basketball, but not to the Final Four extent. That program has been on the rise for the last 10 years or so. But looking at Austin, this is a relatively new school for me in terms of seeing them pop up. They came to my mind in football this year. They made it to the semis, if I'm not mistaken. But I had not heard of Austin before, and they kind of just made a run, and they've been really good. So I'm assuming that this is going to be something that continues for them. But Spanish Fort, obviously, they're always around. But Parker is who I would anticipate playing Paul Bryant. So I'm going to go Paul Bryant versus Parker. Parker winning it all for 6A. So that's where we're going. Big good storyline, too, for the city of Birmingham. They definitely deserve it.
Hillcrest Tuscaloosa takes on Hazel Green on the women's side, and Carver Montgomery versus Homewood. Yeah, you're gonna go. If you're making predictions, why not go ahead?
Yeah, Carver Montgomery obviously has been in and out of Birmingham since we've been covering it. This will be our 9th or 10th year, if I'm not mistaken, of the ASSA Radio Network. So it's been a good ride, an exciting ride. But Carver always has been there, and Hillcrest again has been a team that's been there as well. So I'm looking at Hillcrest and Carver, and I'm going to go with Carver of Montgomery winning your 6A girls state championship.
Of Auburn and Mountain Brook 7A, who do you think ends up winning that one?
Mountain Brook.
Yeah.
Bucky
Taking it home
McMillan.
again.
Yeah, Bucky McMillan. He's good.
Well, speaking of 6A, you were do the Benjamin Russell games, right? That Auburn, that Elliott City Stanhope game. What Auburn, Benjamin Russell in great shape there to move on in the playoffs, and what happened down the stretch?
Honestly, I don't know, man. It was tough. That was a tough one to lose. Honestly, it was kind of indicative of how the season had gone. They probably lost of the 12, 14 games that they lost, and they were probably 30 points combined, maybe. All of them were 5 points or less. It's just they couldn't finish at the end. Really, it came down to execution. Free throws were missed and some silly turnovers. So if you're not making your free throws and you turn the ball over, though, that's kind of essentially, the coaches always preach that, but that is what it is. But great season. I will highlight them too. Two teams from our area. Obviously, our Benjamin Russell Wildcats made it to the round of 32, which was they won the area and hosted a regional game or sub-regional game. So that was something that hasn't happened here in a very long time. And also, the Central Coosa Cougars went to the Sweet 16 and ultimately lost to who did they lose to? Now it's Midfield. So, and that'll be a team that obviously it's going to be tough to get in. As we go down, they made it to the Final Four this year, so they're always there too. So it wasn't anything to not hold your hat on.
Moving down to 5A, Sylacauga taking on Mae Jemison. Huntsville, Faith Academy versus Talladega on the boys' side. Both those games this Wednesday, 4:30 and 7:30. Sylacauga making it to the Final Four.
I'm going Sylacauga, Talladega. We're just going to go.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, we'll just have a Talladega affair.
You've got no faith.
Yeah. Touche.
The women's side, the girls are just as good as the boys, probably better. Sylacauga versus Winona, and Charles Henderson versus Arab. Both of those games on Wednesday at 3 and 6 p.m. there in the 5A girls.
I mean, I've as I said, we've been doing this for almost a decade now, and like when you start to go down and you see these names and these team names, it's usually the same ones. And Winona being one in particular, usually they're both on boys and girls side, but this girls team has been good for so long, and I'd anticipate them being in the championship again. And I'm going to say against Charles Henderson, Winona, Charles Henderson.
Winona and Charles Henderson.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we'll take your word for that. 4A boys moving down. Hale County versus Cordova. Monroe County versus Madison Academy. Madison Academy, again, just
day
like
one.
Spanish Fort, very good in everything.
Yeah,
right?
that's your champion in 4A.
You think so?
Yeah, that's your champion.
On the girls' side, Greensboro versus Deschler, and Booker T. Washington Magnet versus, again, Madison Academy. The
That's
girls
gonna be your winner.
Yeah,
That's gonna be your winner.
There's about five different Booker T. Washington. What's the difference? What's the Magnet versus the? There's about 2 or 3 other ones.
Well, I just know their magnet school. It's just the curriculum in which I think they're more math science based. So it's just an extension of Booker T, if I'm not mistaken, on that end.
Well, you're a font of knowledge.
Well, I've learned if I'm going to be on the show with you, I have to be on my A game.
All right. Well, we're up against another break here. When we come back, we'll run down 3A, 2A, and 1A on the basketball playoff side, and talk about some of these other schools, and Lynette moving on there in 2A, team that we've seen quite a bit as well. We'll talk about those and much more. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
Hey, this is Billy Robbins with Calliope Fireplace. We offer residential gas piping, sales, service, and installations of great products like America's Greatest Grill, the Holland Grill, the Cajun Cookers by R&V Works, Gas Logs by R.H. Peterson, and Superior Hearth Products. Hot water by Renai Tanker. We refill propane cylinders and motorhomes. 20-pound cylinder refill for just $12. Our summer hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Come by Kalijah Fireplace at 8228 Kalijah Road or give us a call at 334-857-2308 or 334-415-5724.
It's a new year and a great time to get into a Ford at Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City. Tallapoosa Ford is clearing out the 2016 models with 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $1,500 in rebates on select models and rebates as high as $6,500. See Tallapoosa Ford for details or visit TallapoosaFord.net.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. Come by today and get your best deal on America's best truck. We don't want all the business, just the opportunity to earn yours.
Experience and knowledge from the pros. Russell Do-It Center at Building Supply. No matter the job or the size, Russell Do-It Center at Building Supply. Price match promise, top-notch service. From home decor to free delivery. Experience and knowledge from the pros. Russell Do-It Center at Building Supply.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com for your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Andy and Scott here with you on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, talking about the AHSAA basketball playoffs. We got down through, I think we went 7 through 4A. We'll pick up in 3A and talk a little bit about that. Scott referenced Midfield just a few minutes ago. Midfield will be in the Final Four. They'll be taking on Holly Pond on Tuesday. Hillcrest Evergreen versus Plainview. That one at 1:30. So there's that Midfield team.
They're really good, and don't get me wrong, this is not the best team. I think that they were better than that Central Coast team. I'll have to admit that they were better than them, and so they kind of played with them. Truthfully, they didn't play their best game, but I've seen them. If I'm not mistaken, this would be 4 straight times for the Final Four, and they've played in the championship game at least 2 of the last 3 years. So they're familiar. And if you're into fashion and you
this is the one. Okay.
Yes, this is the team where they all wear the bow ties. Yes. So they put on a show, but they know basketball. But
where is Midfield?
Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah. So Midfield, I would say Midfield.
Do you know where Holly Pond is?
The pond of Holly. I don't know. Really. I have no idea.
I'm gonna guess out in the middle of nowhere.
That'd be a good guess. I think Midfield's coming from the north, so it's got to be a southern team. I would assume.
Yeah, I think that would be the South bracket.
Yeah.
So,
but Evergreen, it'll be Evergreen and Midfield, and I would look for Midfield to be right back in the championship game to win it again.
On the 3A girls side, Montgomery Academy will take on Locust Fork Tuesday at 9 a.m. Hillcrest Evergreen again taking on Pisgah at noon on Tuesday. There you see these over and over again. The same schools, boys and girls, obviously. But Hillcrest Evergreen, obviously, a good basketball program all the way around.
Yeah, and I can't say that I'm that knowledgeable on the 3A girls side of things.
I can't imagine.
I will. I like the name Pisgah, so I'm gonna ride with them.
It's unusual. I kind of like Locust Fork.
All right, so there we go. Hopefully those two teams.
Evergreen and Locust Fork.
All right, that'll work.
2A boys. R.C. Hatch will take on Sheffield Monday at 4:30. Barber County versus Lynette Monday at 7:30. Lynette defeating Lafayette. Jatarvis Whitlow and that crew goes down 53-50 in a heartbreaker to Lynette.
Yeah, those two teams are just. They're so good, but looking at it, the best matchup in that Final Four is Barber County and Lynette. Barber County, a perennial state, at least perennial Birmingham attendee, and then Final Fours left and right. Had a former coach, Coach White, who was one of the best coaches in terms of winning in our state. But obviously, we want to try to root for the local team, or at least in our listing area. So Lynette, I would anticipate being in the state championship against R.C. Hatch, and R.C. Hatch has always been there too. So as long as I've been following high school sports, R.C. Hatch has been a big time basketball team.
Well, R.C. Hatch on the girls just as good as the boys. They'll take on Tanner Monday at 3 p.m. Geneva County versus Fife Monday night at 6 p.m.
Fife, R.C. Hatch.
Think so.
There you go. I think both of them.
We'll take your word for it.
I mean,
I'm going to Vegas right after this.
We're at a time in America where you can kind of just say whatever you want to say, even if it's right or not. So
I think we've been there for a while. 1A boys, Cornerstone versus South Lamar, Georgiana versus Sacred Heart. And if there's one thing you know a lot about, it's 1A boys basketball.
It is. Definitely not. But Sacred Heart, I am familiar with them, and they're a really good program. And I'm going South Lamar, Sacred Heart winning 1A state championship.
South Lamar beat Pickens County 59-58. That must have been a good game.
Pickens County, to all those teams in the Black Belt there's a large contingent of like Greene County and Hale County, Pickens County, all R.C. Hatch being from there. So all those schools are usually one of the teams that you'll see in the state championship.
On the 1A girls side, Westminster Oak Mountain versus R.A. Hubbard and J.F. Shields versus Spring Garden. I have never heard of any of the 4 of those schools.
This is anyway, I'm going to hold off on that. But Oak Mountain, Westminster Oak Mountain versus Spring Garden. That's just off the top. I have no idea about any of these.
I think it sounds good.
It does sound. I wonder what type of Anyway, my bad. Anyway, this will be something for the break. The conversation for the break.
Well, there's your schedule for 7A through 1A for the AHSAA basketball playoffs again. taking place throughout this upcoming week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, moving on into championship games on Friday and Saturday mostly. So all the guys from our group will be up there calling these games. Again, it just makes it's Luke and Brett put it, it's a labor of love.
It is
because it is a grind.
I will say this, and I do want to commend our guys on the great job they do with the ASSA, and to Coach Savarese, thank you as well for the opportunity, and shout out to our man JFK, John F. Kennedy, for Kalaja Country 97.5 being the hub for all of this. So I know it's tough. So Michael Forehand, I know you're off today, but you got a long week ahead for you next week for all the production in. So looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah, he needed a day off. They work him to death. For Michael Forehand, he does a good job producing all the television and everything. And Adam does a fine job producing the radio for us. As we
shout out, Adam.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and take another break here, but we'll be back with more. We'll talk a little bit about college basketball as Alabama loses a tough one to Georgia, and Auburn goes on the road and gets a big win in LSU, both in action today as well. We'll preview those games when we come back. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown after these messages.
Are you ready for your best deal on a new Nissan now? The Nissan Now sales event is now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. It's where you'll find the new Altima S for only $18,900 and the new Rogue S is just $21,800 plus 0% for 72 months on 6 models and no payments for 90 days. If you want all this and a hassle-free buying experience, get to Lynch Nissan now in Auburn off I-85. Online at lynchnissan.com.
Sure, more at this price excludes tax, tag, and dock fee with approved NMAC financing.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. In our office, we see many cases where drinking and driving has led to auto accidents and serious injuries. Teenage drinking and driving causes thousands of preventable deaths each year. Parents, please help by taking steps to discourage your teen from ever drinking and driving, and by making sure that they understand the dangers involved.
This message brought to you by personal injury attorney Dane Sharp, located at 134 North Broadnax Street in Dadeville, Alabama. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
JR's Sports Bar and Grill is the place where everyone knows your name. JR's on Alabama Street in Alex City has it all. Whether a family night out, a quick bite for lunch, or watching the big game, JR's staff will be serving up the best wings, tenders, burgers, and steaks. Have JR's cater any size event, or just call JR's and they'll deliver it to your door. Whether you're just visiting or live around the corner, join your friends at JR's Sports Bar and Grill in Alex City, where everyone knows your name.
Here's something to think about. Do you know who's talking to your kids about alcohol? Is it the kids with fake IDs or friends drinking at parties? Or maybe someone offering to buy them beer from the local convenience store? Who is talking to your kids about alcohol? Shouldn't it be you? For more information on how to talk with your kids about underage drinking, visit niaaa.nih.gov or East Alabama Mental Health on Facebook and Twitter. Brought to you by East Alabama Mental Health Prevention Services, Tallapoosa County Cares, and the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism.
With over 40 years of combined experience, SignSource is the premier sign supplier for Central Alabama. From illuminated and monument signs for your business, to banners, car wraps, or political yard signs for the individual, SignSource can do it all. We specialize in designing sign concepts that get results. Contact us today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at signsourcenow.com. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17th season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tubes with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin. This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
All right. You're live.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Andy and Scott. Scott can step aside for a minute, and we're going to welcome in our good friend Luke Robinson, who is on the road right now. Luke, how you doing today?
Doing good, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's a beautiful Saturday down in the south, a little cool, but that's all well and good. We were talking about, Scott and I, in the previous segment, the AHSAA basketball playoffs. And, you guys are headed up there. You're going to do these games this week and this weekend. Just talk about some of the teams you're really looking forward to seeing, maybe some of the players as well.
Well, there's certainly a lot to keep an eye on. There's no doubt. First of all, I think the headliner is John Petty from Mae Jemison, who signed with Alabama. He's going to play in the McDonald's All-American game. This kid has been college ready since he was a sophomore. He is one of the better players I've seen in the finals since I've been doing this for a decade or so. Just an incredible player, very, very talented. He can shoot the three. He can throw down on people, plays good defense. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be an early starter for Alabama, maybe day one starter for Alabama next year. Then Garrison Brooks, I know Scott talked about him a little bit earlier. He's headed to Mississippi State from Auburn High School. His dad is on that coaching staff, and he's a really strong player. He's kind of maybe done a little Danny Manning action leading this Auburn team into the finals like Danny Manning did with Kansas back in the late 80s. He's a very talented player, very versatile. I look forward to seeing him play. Deontay Wood from Sacred Heart. I know he's only in 1A basketball, but he's a really strong kid, been so versatile, so talented ever since. I think they've been to the finals the last 2 or 3 years, and I've gotten to see him grow up, and now he's only a junior. And so he'll be back for another year. Only rated a 3-star by most services. I think that can go up if he puts on a little bit of weight, but he's a kid that Alabama and Auburn are certainly interested in, and a lot of programs around the country. And then Herb Jones from Hale County in 4A is another kid that signed with Alabama. Needs to put on a little weight, but he is a great shooter. And my goodness, does Alabama need some shooters. So I think that he's going to be a good fit for next year, part of the big signing class Avery Johnson brought in. Then on the women's side, you got Hannah Barber from Homewood, who is also committed to Alabama, only a junior. She's been to the finals the last 2 years. She is a real floor general. She is a lot of fun to watch. I'll tell you, Andy, these women's games, girls basketball can get a bad rap. I don't think I'm stepping out of bounds when I say that. But these girls' games are typically better, more competitive than the boys' games, if you ask me. Because in the girls' side, there are very few really strong teams. On the boys' side, you can have a lot of upsets and maybe a team that just got hot at the right time that isn't necessarily the most talented can get in there. But on the girls' side, it's usually the cream of the crop. So I look forward to seeing Homewood back in there again. They're so good, so much fun to watch, so well coached. But, of course, in 7A, you got Mountain Brook, which is, Scott bragged about them earlier. They've got Trendon Watford, who is going to be one of the more sought-after kids in state history, it looks like. It's going to be so much fun, and it is a grind. It is a labor of love. We're not doing this for the money. But it's so much fun to get to say we got to call the Eric Bledsoes and Marcus Cousins of the world.
Well, Luke, while we got you here, let's move over. Talk a little bit about Alabama. They kind of lose one that they, had a great chance. We talked about that Tuesday night. They had a great opportunity with Georgia coming in, down a player. Alabama not able to get it done at home, but that's kind of what we've come to expect from Auburn and Alabama, just basically inconsistency.
Andy, on Tuesday night, if you remember, I said that Alabama has a chance to go 4-0 in this series, these next 4 games, and 0-4 as well, just because you don't know what you're going to get. I also said that Brian Pasick, my buddy who does the color for Alabama basketball, told me to watch out for Georgia Thursday, because what happens is after a team loses their best player, they get a 1-game bump. Everybody rallies around the fact that he's out, and they play better for the very next game, and then they sort of fall off a cliff. Well, lo and behold, he turned out to be a profit as Georgia played pretty well, and Alabama did what they do. They don't shoot well. They scored 55 points again because they absolutely cannot shoot. I frankly, if Herb Jones or John Petty were at Alabama right now, both of them, I think, would be starting just for the fact that they can hit the ocean from the boat. Nobody else on Alabama's team can. And it wouldn't surprise me at all, though, if Alabama went to Texas A&M and won today. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying Alabama has a personality. They play defense. Their personality is defense and the inability to shoot. I mean, let's not forget it took Alabama 4 overtimes to get to 90 points against South Carolina. But they won because they didn't let South Carolina get to 90. So, yeah, this team is very frustrating in a sense, but I like what Avery Johnson's doing. You've got to remember next year he's bringing in a top 3 or top 4 recruiting class in the country. Alex Reese from Pelham will be there. Colin Sexton, who is lighting it up in Georgia basketball, will be there. Daniel Giddens, the transfer from Ohio State, who sat out this past year, will be there. Dante Hall comes back. Riley Norris comes back. Avery Johnson Jr., Braxton Key. Next year is going to be very promising for Alabama because they will have somebody who can hit the broadside of a barn.
We opened the show and talked about Ole Miss and the turmoil that they're in right now, new infractions being levied against them by the NCAA. I asked Scott this to start the show. I'll ask you now, does Hugh Freeze survive?
I don't see how in the world he can. He sounds, frankly, he sounds like a small-town preacher right now. He's just, everything is, basically, I'm putting this in God's hands, and, he really just doesn't sound like, he's so naive right now. And I can't believe for the life of me that he didn't know about a lot of this that's going on. And just as I've said a million times, Andy, Alabama and Auburn fans love to rib each other, and there have been pictures both ways of guys with cars and guys flashing cash, and the DJ Fluker stuff, the Cam Newton stuff, all in all. But, everybody in the SEC that's good, everybody, is going 82 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. Ole Miss was going 106. That's the problem. It's not that they were cheating. I mean, everybody sort of works in the gray area. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that happens. I mean, it's just the way it is. Alabama does it. Auburn does it. LSU does it. That's how good teams stay good. But when you go so far and beyond the line is when it's going to be a problem, and that's what Ole Miss is doing. I mean, look, Alabama has recruited at a level that I've never seen somebody recruit. And I don't think even they have ever gotten the number 1, number 2, and number 7 guy in the country at one time. And for a team like a program like Ole Miss that has never been good, really, I mean, in my lifetime, that has never been to the SEC championship game, and that had a coach that essentially came out of nowhere to reel in guys from Florida and Georgia and Illinois and Michigan and places like, oh my God, what are you talking about going to Ole Miss? They had to know they would be scrutinized. And then the funny thing is, it's from all accounts, it sounds like that the NCAA was about to wrap their investigation up, but Murphy's Law and karma kicked in, where the Larry Tunsil stuff hits the fan, and the NCAA says, maybe we ought to stick around a little bit longer. And so, in the end, I don't think it's the Kimdichis that get him in trouble, or the Laquan Treadwells, which probably, I mean, Andy, I'm sure you believe, like I believe, something had to go on there. It's the fact that it's going to be other stuff that gets them, not the ones that everybody believes should have gotten them. So, in the end, it's bad for the league, though, because what it does is it reinforces the stereotype that the SEC is just an outlaw conference.
Yeah, I think 21 violations, really most of them major, being leveled against Ole Miss right now. And I don't think any of them involved Laramie Tunsil and everything that went on there. So it's stuff outside of that. That just brings the attention in to start looking, and then that's when you start finding all these other things going on. Luke, we really appreciate you joining us for this segment, and you be careful on the way home, and enjoy your week in Birmingham this upcoming week.
Can't wait for it.
Thanks so much.
Hey, buddy.
All right. That was Luke Robinson. Appreciate him joining us, and we'll go ahead and take another break. But when we come back, we'll bring Scott back in, and we'll talk about Auburn and Alabama basketball. More to come right after this.
Nothing goes better with your good times than fresh barbecue from Big B in Alex City. Big B Barbecue has the best chipped and sliced barbecue in the area. Bring the family in and sit outside on our beautiful patio and enjoy the finest barbecue pork, chicken, beef, and ribs around. Big B also has great burgers, salads, and steaks. Have a big event coming up? Big B can cater your next family outing or party. Barbecue by the pound, slabs of ribs, famous Big B sweet tea by the gallon. All the fixings to go along with it. Big B Barbecue on Highway 22 West in Alex City has it all. Call us at 256-329-9996. We cook the best better since 1978.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com for your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Arctic Air and Heat is your Rheem dealer. They are there for you year round. So whether it's hot weather or cold weather, they're going to come see you. Now, they'll work on anything, any brand that is. But if you want folks that you can depend on Arctic Air and Heat. I'm talking about Keziah. That would be Daryl Keziah. 256-825-6745. So whether it's cold or it's hot, that's Arctic Air and Heat.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation for your rehabilitation needs. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can.
For over 60 years, people in East Central Alabama have relied on the team at Jackson Refrigeration for the highest standards in heating and air installation and service. Now they've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, and you can still count on their reputation to make your comfort their priority with quality Goodman products with the best warranty in the industry. Whether it's new construction or a complete unit change, Jackson Refrigeration and A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the go-to team for over 60 years, where your comfort is our priority. This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. A very interesting show today. Much more interesting during the breaks than it is on the air, so I apologize to all of you out there. Maybe we'll let you in on that goal. That's gold, Jerry. It's gold. Scotty, good to have you back. Let's move over and talk a little bit about college. Auburn now 17-11, 6-9 overall. Alabama 16-11, 9-6 in the league. By going down to Baton Rouge and winning 98-75 this past Tuesday night, Auburn assured themselves of a winning season. Now, for most programs, that would be, who cares? Whoop-de-doo. This will be the first time Auburn has had a winning season since 2009. 2009.
I mean,
how many times? I don't know. You're probably reading it, but how many times since 2004 has the Auburn basketball program had a winning season?
Including 2009, so it would be two.
Yes.
Two.
That'd be 1, 2.
So I guess that was Marquise Daniels' year.
2007. That's it.
Well, I just know that 2009 team, was that like the
that's the one that went and lost to
Kavatni
Baylor
Barbers
in
and Rasheem Barrett's and those types. Yeah,
Cortez Robinson.
Yeah, that team wasn't that bad actually.
No, they weren't.
They won like 21, something like that.
Yeah, they were bubble team. Got in the NIT. and ended up going to the I guess what is Elite 8 or Sweet 16 or whatever it is of the NIT, and lost. I think in overtime to a pretty good Baylor team that maybe I want to say Baylor maybe went on and won the NIT.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was it. That's it though. 2 winning seasons since 2004. This would be 2017 for all those counting.
Well, okay. Before the year started, I was hoping Auburn could get 20 wins and finish 500 in the SEC. Now,
9-9.
They'd have to win out for those two things to happen. But Auburn, you look at some of the games that they lost, you're like, man, what happened? Auburn, you were kind of talking about like what happened with the Benjamin Russell game. It's been very similar in terms of what happened. They've had lots of leads early in games, and just things have faltered at the end. And the record isn't necessarily reflective of how good the team is or could potentially be. But at the end of the day, it is about wins and losses. But if Auburn could get to 20 wins somehow, they're not going to. I don't know. They could get 2 out of 3 maybe. Missouri is a winnable game. Georgia's a winnable game. All SEC games are winnable games. So
that's anything outside of Kentucky for Auburn is a winnable game at this point. I agree. It'll be interesting to see what they do against Arkansas. Much like you're talking with Luke, Auburn is extraordinarily inconsistent in everything that they do. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them beat Arkansas today, and then go on the road and lose to Georgia. And they could lose to Missouri at home. There's no question that they could. So, but I'm like you. I thought 20 wins with this team would be a good accomplishment. There's a lot of talent, but it is, and this is they are young. They're playing a bunch of talented freshmen. Of course, a lot of other teams are playing a bunch of talented freshmen. So, it's just I wrote an article the other day about Auburn's look. Bruce Pearl's history. It has been, I think 19 years before he came to Auburn, 18 of those he went to the NCAA tournament. In 22 years before he got to Auburn went to the NCAA tournament 3 times. He has not forgotten how to coach.
I don't think it's him, and I feel bad for him because there was so much expectation coming into this season in terms of not necessarily wins and losses. I know that's important, but just getting better. And he came out and said, we haven't made the progression that we should have made from last year to this year. And you can say that you're playing younger guys, but if you look at every top team in the country has their best players are freshmen for the most part, or a team like Kentucky where you're starting 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 on a consistent year-to-year basis. So, I just think if Auburn could just be like, it goes back to being consistent, but Auburn's just in a place where basketball isn't taken seriously, but there's people watching it now. I think there's eyes on the program comparative to where it was before, but they're just waiting for that time period in which Auburn makes that next leap. And so I still think we're a couple years away from being a South Carolina.
Yeah, next year better be. I mean, that needs to be a better year.
Yes.
They need to have, I'm going to say, a winning record in the SEC next year, because you got to have all this talent coming back. You're going to have more added to it. Talent on the roster will no longer be an issue.
Yeah.
But it took Sonny Smith about 5 years to even get to be a winning record. It took Frank Martin 4 years to get South Carolina to where he got them at least to a level above mediocrity. So some of these basketball programs that are just notoriously lousy, like Auburn, it's just going to take some time. But you look down through the schedule today. Tennessee travels to South Carolina. Florida at Kentucky. That should be a good one. That should be an interesting one. That's at 1 o'clock on CBS. Missouri at Ole Miss. Mississippi State at Vandy. LSU at Georgia. Alabama, as Luke referenced, goes to Texas A&M tonight. 7 o'clock on ESPN2, and then Arkansas at Auburn at 7:30 on the SEC Network. 2 teams, basically it's a 2-team league in the SEC. I didn't know if South Carolina is going to make the NCAA tournament at this point.
Which is crazy because, it used to be you got to 2022 when you kind of were there, but now, I don't know. It's just tough. SEC basketball is tough to watch, but there's some quality there are some quality players within the league, and there's some good coaches, honestly, but just the consistency of our basketball team, I guess success hasn't been there. And again, you take out Florida and Kentucky, and what do you have? And that's in no other conference is that bad, I think, compared to the SEC.
Well, half the league is below 500.
Oh,
that's what you get. I mean, in conference, half the league is 7-8 or worse. And then you have 2 at 8 and 7. I mean, Alabama is at 9 and 6. That's how bad the SEC is. Alabama's the 5th best team record-wise.
Who did LSU get there? Who's their conference win?
Surely it's against Missouri, maybe. I don't know, but
that makes sense.
They probably beat each other. Missouri also beat Vanderbilt, I believe, didn't they?
They did.
Or no, they beat Arkansas. Maybe Vandy or Arkansas, one of the two.
I thought it was
something
Vandy.
crazy.
I thought it was Vandy. But I don't know. I really do. I would love to have it where, I mean, don't get me wrong, Pearl's getting all kinds of support from whether it be the student body or whether it be the boosters or alumni. He's getting the support, and I think people want Auburn basketball to be good because we saw what happened with softball. 2 years ago, nobody was going to those games, and now they're talking about building a new softball complex. So I think it's one of those things, building they'll come. If you have a good program, then it will be followed. It's just I don't know what else can be done. It was Missouri, yeah. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But I do say, and Randy keeps saying, we've all said it, it's not Bruce Pearl. So if Auburn's going to do well, we've got the right person in there. Auburn has the right person in there. And ultimately, if it doesn't work out, then we just have to accept it is what it is.
Make it a parking lot.
Yeah.
Use it for some better facility than or move softball in there or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's going to we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll continue these discussions. We'll move over, talk a little bit about Auburn baseball and Alabama baseball and softball. And as both teams underway now in the spring season, the weather kind of turned a little cool here for this weekend, but both in action today. We'll talk about that when we come back. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown on the way right after this.
Have land and want to build? Need land and want to build? Your friends at America's Home Place have you covered. Without the outrageous per square foot cost of other home builders, America's Home Place of Opelika has over 200 floor plans with unlimited customizable options for size and luxury. Your land can be your equity. And now ask about our close to the lake lots. America's Home Place in front of USA Shopping Center in Opelika. For details, call 334-364-0058 or visit us online at americashomeplace.com. Your life is full of precious things, and your MetLife agent David Chabot is here to protect the things you cherish. With MetLife's full family of insurance products, auto, home, life, disability, and much more, you can make sure that you are protected. Call or visit MetLife agent David Chabot at 120 South Ross Street in Auburn, or call 334-321-7250. That's 334-321-7250. Your life is full of precious things. Make sure that you have them protected with the full family of MetLife insurance products. Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17th season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
Harbor Point and Marina has it all for the lake enthusiast, and this spring is your opportunity to save big on Harbor Point Crest pontoons and Four Winds Bow Rider boats. Right now, get boat show pricing, save big on our very limited 2015 models. Harbor Point is loaded with 2016 boats, and at Harbor Point you can test ride on the water in a matter of minutes. Come see and save on new and used inventory or get the best service in our shop. Get to the point at Harbor Point.
Buy it at Vice. We treat you nice. Vice Motors. So many choices, new and used. Friendly service from our family to you. Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Vice. Vice Motors.
No matter the season, there's always work to do. With wide cutting decks, high cutting speeds, and the ability to turn on their own axis without leaving any uncut areas, Husqvarna zero-turn mowers make lawn and yard care a breeze. Now get even more work done in less time with versatile accessories like double and triple bin collection systems, blower assisted systems, and even a dump from seat collection system. Productivity and efficiency are optimized. For a full lineup of Husqvarna zero-turn mowers and accessories, visit CTE Small Engines next to Tigertown or online at ctesmallengines.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Andy and Scott here with you for about 40 more minutes today in the program. We appreciate all of you out there joining us today. We're talking about Auburn and Alabama basketball in the previous segment. We'll move over, talk a little bit about baseball as Auburn off to a good start this season at 5-1. Alabama coming out of the gate a little slow at 3-2. They dropped one. I think they took 2 of 3 to Presbyterian. In the opening week, they dropped the opener against Oral Roberts last night, 6-3. Auburn took care of Holy Cross 7-0 last night to extend their winning streak. Now 5-1. But Keegan Thompson really made his second start last night. Went 8 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. For a guy coming off Tommy John surgery, it's just so good to see him back to pitching the way that he did when he came in as a freshman, really, at Auburn. And if he can continue to pitch like this throughout the year, I think Auburn's going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and we were talking about it during the break, and I feel as good about the baseball program as I have in a long time. If the bats can accompany the way our arms are projected to do, I think Auburn could at least compete in the top half of the SEC, which that doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're going to look, when the rankings start to come out and you really, as the season progresses, you'll see what the top 10, 15 teams in the country are, and 4 or 5 of them are from the SEC, 3 of them from your own division. Being in the top half of that is going to be pretty solid.
I think 4 of the top 6 are SEC teams.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it, and that just is what it is, but I think Auburn, and obviously when I say that, Auburn is still building this program. So Coach Thompson is a tremendous coach, especially on the pitching end. And when you have somebody like a Keegan Thompson who you can rely on and add in, if you know off the jump you got that Friday starter in, you got 1 in, so that makes you feel a little bit better. So by the time the Sunday comes around, it's a free for all. So I look for Auburn to at least be able to win 2 out of 3. Out of the 14 or 13 other teams, that should at least 8 or 9 of those could be 2 out of 3. 6 or 7 of those, they could get 2 out of 3. So I think they have a chance to possibly make some things happen on the postseason side. Alabama, similar, not as good. I don't think they're as good, but it's fun to watch because they have a local hometown guy, Zach Rogers, who's a pitcher for them. So it's exciting to see him. He got a win actually the other day.
He did. Came in relief.
Yeah, so it's an exciting time for baseball here locally, and I know we're kind of on the collegiate side right now, but obviously too. And if we get a chance, we get to touch on Kendall Graveman. I think he's actually on the mound today in spring training. So it'll be fun to watch him. He and his brother and I are looking to make a trip out to Oakland in April if they have a 10-game stretch. So we're going to try to do something kind of cool with him. But baseball is getting that time of year where it's spring time and you kind of just feel a little bit better. But if you're not doing anything today, obviously at 12 o'clock they are hosting Holy Cross. But I'm trying my best to get out there. I think they're going to be a really good baseball team this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming out of the gate and hitting the ball a lot better. And really, Doug Sisson has done a tremendous job. He comes over with Thompson last year, and just a completely different mindset. Auburn looks completely different at the plate in how aggressive they are, being a better 2-strike hitting team. They're hitting .328 right now as a team through 6 games now. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, if you hit .328 as a team, especially in this day and age with the BB Core bats, that's where you need to be. And Auburn's not going to be they're not going to hit a ton of home runs. They've only got 1 so far this year. But like you mentioned, I mean, the pitching staff is a lot more solid this year. You feel like with Keegan Thompson, with Casey Mize coming back as a sophomore, this year, and you bring in a freshman, Davis Daniel, and so I think he's going to end up being, because Gabe Klobuchar's got hammered. Here's another good sign: Auburn playing Florida A&M in the midweek game, down 7-0 through 3 innings, came back and won that game 12-8.
That made me so mad though. It's like, how, and there's no knock on them, but how are we down 7-0?
Because you can't throw. Well, no movement whatsoever. And a fastball pitcher, even in college, anybody can hit, a just routine bat BP fastball, and they just lit him up. I mean, and then you bring in another freshman, and he didn't even get it recorded out. Gives up 4 runs. I think his ERA is 27 right now.
That's tough.
Elliot Anderson. But like you mentioned, I think Auburn's they just field the ball so much better, especially around the infield. And, they're pitching, and that's what Butch Thompson is going to bring, pitching and defense. That's what that's how he makes his living. If Auburn, like you mentioned, if the bats can continue to be consistent, I think they could be. I'm not sure what they can do really competing with the highest end of the SEC, but if you're middle of the pack right now, you're in the playoffs, probably hosting a regional.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see us, how it's been previously, where we're in the 12, 13, 14 range, where we're fighting to even get into the SEC tournament. I don't think it'll be one of those types of scenarios. But I do think like you said, for the top 6 teams from the SEC, but if you're around that 7-8 range in the SEC 9 range, I think there's an opportunity for you to really have some success outside of the SEC. And what that does to a lot of time, you're going to have to face these same teams when it gets to postseason play anyway, so you're already accustomed to it. But I'm really excited about the state of the baseball program. Like, that's probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most. I'm a big fan of Butch Thompson. Again, that's another connection there. He was Kendall's pitching coach at Mississippi State. Actually had him coming to Auburn until he made that transition. So he's very well thought of, and I think that if people continue to have some patience with him like we're doing with the basketball team, I think people will be satisfied with the results.
Again, Hal Baird retired in 2000. So the last 17 years, including this year, 2001, 2 winning seasons in conference for the Auburn baseball program. 2. That's 1 in 2003. When Auburn won 43 games in Steve Renfro, and we hosted a regional, and that's 2010. We won 20-10. I think we had led the country in home runs.
Yeah.
Ended up hosting a regional and lost both those in the first round, by the way.
Yeah.
But 2 winning seasons.
That was good times then.
Basketball and baseball has just been – we've been in the wilderness in those 2 sports for a long time.
Do people care? I know.
I care. But I'm one of the few.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's. Obviously everybody's going to care about the football.
They know that baseball.
Yeah, that's but baseball. I don't know. I think it's a reflection. Like, if you look at other programs, like a Florida or an LSU, and I'm not really going to say LSU, but some of these, you look at the overall state of the athletic department, and so that's good that we're like, if you're a good football school, excellent. Alabama doing their thing, that's one thing, but in reality, I would love to be able to say we're competing on the largest of scales in any sport. So it brings in more attention, and that's more money and more revenue being brought to the university. So I don't know. I think we're on the right track, though, especially on the baseball and softball end, and basketball too, for that matter. I think we've got 3 excellent coaches to accompany what is kind of a lame duck, in my opinion, on the football side. And I'm sure we'll get into a little spring practice here before we wrap up the show.
Well, let's go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about softball programs. Number 2 in the country, the Auburn Tigers. Alabama at number 10 right now at 10-2. Both of them in action this weekend as well, with both of them playing doubleheaders today, and then wrapping it up on Sunday. We'll talk about that when we come back, and we'll talk about many things other than that. More to come on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
It's good to be in good hands, and even better when it's with a knowledgeable friend that you know and trust. Alice Palmer is the region's Allstate insurance agent based on Airport Road in Alex City. Alice and Allstate offer the most competitive rates on life, home, and auto. And with Alice's financial and small business background, she can cover all your commercial needs. Allstate also offers complete retirement planning with agent Joe Colvin, and our team is dedicated to achieving all your insurance and financial goals. Get in good hands with Alice Palmer and Allstate Insurance. Visit online or call 215-3833.
Are you ready for your best deal on a new Nissan now? The Nissan Now sales event is now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. It's where you'll find the new Altima S for only $18,900 and the new Rogue S is just $21,800 plus 0% for 72 months on 6 models and no payments for 90 days. If you want all this and a hassle-free buying experience, get to Lynch Nissan now in Auburn off I-85. Online at lynchnissan.com.
2 or more at this price. Excludes tax, tag, and dock fee with approved NMAC financing.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. In our office, we see many cases where drinking and driving has led to auto accidents and serious injuries. Teenage drinking and driving causes thousands of preventable deaths each year. Parents, please help by taking steps to discourage your teen from ever drinking and driving, and by making sure that they understand the dangers involved.
This message brought to you by personal injury attorney Dane Sharp, located at 134 North Broadnax Street in Dadeville, Alabama. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics. So go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Hi, this is John Dark with Dark Insurance. When it comes to your insurance, we know you have many options. The advantage of Dark Insurance is we can quote your insurance needs to over 40 different insurance companies. As an independent agency, we offer more options and plans, all with local service. Don't get caught up with 800 lines or call centers in other countries. Let us show you all your options when it comes to your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 234-5026.
Why should C&T Electric be the company you call when you have electrical issues? Because C&T Electric is locally owned and operated. Our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, and background checked for your safety and security. C&T Electric guarantees their work and offers straightforward pricing. So call C&T Electric at 256-234-0007 the next time you have any electrical issues.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Andy and Scott here with you for about 30 more minutes, running down everything going on in the world of sports today. Auburn softball and Alabama in action today. Auburn, the number 2 team in the country, at 12-1 right now. Alabama at number 10 in the country at 10-2 overall. Both had a good week, good start to their weekend as Auburn defeated North Dakota 6-0. UMass Lowell 13-0, and then North Dakota again 8-0 yesterday, or Thursday and Friday. Alabama defeated North Florida 2-0, Central Florida 4-0, and Texas Tech 7-2. Auburn in action today in a doubleheader. They'll take on Yale at 2:30 at the Auburn Softball Complex, and then they'll take on number 15 in the country, James Madison, at 4:45. Alabama will take on Gardner-Webb and Texas Tech today in a doubleheader, and then finish out tomorrow against Central Florida at 1:30. When you look down through here, Auburn, started out with a very challenging schedule. They went to Mexico. They took on Oklahoma, who was ranked number 1 team in the country, won the national championship last year, defeating Auburn in a 3-game series. Then they played the number 13 team, Washington. They're going to play, again, James Madison, who's number 15 in the country. So Clint Myers very big on playing very stiff competition early to kind of prepare the team. Auburn not coming out of the gate swinging the bat like they have in the last couple of years. Casey Cooper is only hitting .229 right now. She's one of the best hitters in the country. That certainly will turn around eventually. But Auburn as a team only hitting .276. But their pitching is better now than it's ever been, with a 0.81 ERA. So if you kind of project out and just think, if the hitting continues to get better, if they continue to work on these things, Auburn probably going to be right there again fighting for a World Series bid.
Yeah, I think it's just you hate to put the cart before the horse, but I think that it's almost inevitable that they'll make some type of run like last year, and I would see them competing the same way, especially, again, if you talk about the bats. Pitching was not necessarily a problem last year, but if there was a weakness, that and maybe some of the fielding issues. But now, if the bats and if the combination of those two are hitting at the same time, the way that I think that it could potentially happen, you'll see them right back. Like the state of that Auburn athletic department is in really good shape, except for just one little area of football. But otherwise, I'm really excited. I just think we're very fortunate to have the people in place that we have in these different positions. And Clint Meyer, again, just I don't think people understand how great a get that was. And so for Auburn to be number 2 nationally, like when have we been able to say that about anything? So I think that's a pretty cool storyline in itself. But I anticipate another tremendous season for the Tigers.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. And Alabama as well, they've been good for many, many years. Patrick Murphy done an outstanding job there in Tuscaloosa. They're actually, hitting the ball extremely well right now. And Alexis Osorio is one of the best pitchers in all the country as well. So you would expect Alabama to be there as well too. They'll continue to promote that softball program as they have the last several years. So it's fun to see these two teams get together and play. It's all used to. Softball was, like you say, it was not really looked upon with that much of a great of interest. But now, with the success of both these programs, it's almost created. Maybe they might be, creeping up on the second most anticipated sport behind football.
Truthfully,
really,
that's legit. I just know some from my friends who are still around in Auburn, and like they will go to the softball. Like they look forward, they make plans for that, and that's something. I guess that's the thing now, where it's something sought after, as you said, and I think the attention that he's bringing to the program is great. And again, we're just with Clint Meyer and Butch Thompson, and Bruce Pearl too. But he's there. We understand what he's got there. But those two in particular, I'm really excited to see us have some quality competitors on the diamonds, both of them.
Yeah, me as well. So again, remember both of those. Auburn playing at noon. Really, as we go off the air, they'll host in Holy Cross. Alabama a little bit later in the afternoon. We'll be hosting Oral Roberts at the Jake, and then softball. Auburn in action at 2:30. Gardner Webb will be at Alabama at 1:30. I think all these are on the SEC Watch or SEC Network. In that in the Watch app, you can watch them on your mobile device, or you can watch them on your home PC through Watch ESPN.
Well, millennials there. See, that's what they're going after us.
I don't own a cell phone.
Yeah. See, there you go. Well,
I'm a Gen X.
You're anti.
I'm anti-establishment.
Yeah.
I'm anti.
Yeah. You're just anti.
It's just anti. I'm just anti. That's all I am. We'll go ahead and take another break. We'll get this one in, and we'll come back. And we'll talk about Brian Blackman a little bit, as he's the new analyst. He resigns from Opelika High School, where he did a tremendous job. And now he'll be on the Auburn staff. And Auburn also brings in a graduate transfer from Jacksonville State. Usually works the other way around, but Jacksonville coming to Auburn now. So we'll talk about that when we come back. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire, right after this.
Have land and want to build? Need land and want to build? Your friends at America's Home Place have you covered. Without the outrageous per square foot cost of other home builders, America's Home Place of Opelika has over 200 floor plans with unlimited customizable options for size and luxury. Your land can be your equity. And now ask about our close to the lake lots. America's Home Place in front of USA Shopping Center in Opelika. For details, call 334-364-0058 or visit us online at americashomeplace.com.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Tax time is here, not the time to buy. Stop at Gills Auto Sales, we can show you why.
2017 is here. It's tax time, and Gills Auto Sales is celebrating with a half-back sale. Buy the vehicle of your choice from any Gills location, and you can receive half your down payment back in cash. That's right, half your down payment back in cash. 6 locations, over 400 vehicles to choose from. It's Gills Auto Sales half-back sale going on now.
Gotta get the Gills, gotta get the Gills.
Refilling prescriptions just got easier on the go at the Medicine Shop. Did you know that you can refill your prescriptions directly from your iPhone or Android phone using the Refill RX mobile app? Or you can put your prescription in online at medicineshop.com. That makes 2 easy ways to refill your prescription at the Medicine Shop. They have fast and friendly service, and they also offer convenient drive-through services. Delivery is available within the city limits. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescription. Located at Airport Drive in Alexander City, 256-215-8014. Imagine a mattress designed to give you the optimum sleep experience. That's Optimum by Sealy Posturepedic, and you can get it at Holly's Home Furnishing. Optimum mattresses feature OptiCool gel memory foam, designed to help keep you in the temperature range that's scientifically proven to deliver a deep, relaxing sleep. Come in now and save up to $600 instantly on select Optimum mattress sets. Just because your partner moves during the night doesn't mean that you should. Optimum is designed to absorb motion, creating a calm, stable sleeping environment that lasts all night, every night. Go to Holly's Home Furnishings and get yours today on Highway 22 West in Alexander City. Here's something to think about. Do you know who's talking to your kids about alcohol? Is it the kids with fake IDs or friends drinking at parties? Or maybe someone offering to buy them beer from the local convenience store? Who is talking to your kids about alcohol? Shouldn't it be you? For more information on how to talk with your kids about underage drinking, visit niaaa.nih.gov. or East Alabama Mental Health on Facebook and Twitter. Brought to you by East Alabama Mental Health Prevention Services, Tallapoosa County Cares, and the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown here on 97.5 Elijah Country. We appreciate all of you out there joining us today. Andy and Scott here with you for a couple more segments in today's show. Auburn brings in Brian Blackman from Opelika High School. This guy, started his career at Opelika as an assistant under Spence McCracken. He comes back over as the head coach for the last 6 years, takes Opelika to 2 state title games. Unfortunately, unable to win those, but I think maybe this has been in the works for a while, or at least Auburn has been maybe pursuing him for a while. He actually has a master's degree from Auburn University, but he was a roommate of Chip Lindsey when they were at North Alabama, so there's a connection there as well. But anytime you can bring a guy like this, he comes over as an analyst. What does an analyst do? Well, they break down film. They do scouting reports for teams. They probably self-scout. But you want smart guys that have a lot of connections in the high school ranks as well. And from all accounts, just a very quality individual coming over to Auburn staff.
We, as a member of the SSA radio network, obviously we're very familiar with Opelika and Coach Blackman, but also from a Benjamin Russell standpoint locally, that is our biggest rival. And so it's been really fun to see him on the opposing sideline. He's a great guy, first and foremost. I think that Auburn is getting a great individual. And then from a coaching standpoint, obviously we've seen what he's been able to do with Opelika. Not necessarily been able to win the big game, but he's getting them there, and he understands offense. And to my understanding, as you said, this has been something that has kind of been, Malzahn had been courting him for a while. And the thought was, though, obviously his son, or for those who don't know, his son is the quarterback at Opelika. And the thought process was maybe he was going to try to stay with him to try to finish out. He'll be a junior next year. But the window of opportunity was starting to get a little slimmer for him to go to Auburn. Also, some have said that Coach Malzahn has also been pursuing his other brother, Ben Blackman. Or his brother, not other brother, his brother Ben Blackman.
His other brother, Darryl?
Yeah. His brother Ben Blackman, who's the coach at Spanish Fort. So you're looking at 2 of the top 5 programs in the state, and for Auburn to get in, I kind of hate to bringing Alabama into this conversation. But I like that they have as many coaches on staff as they do. I think you need that in terms of, I think it creates more of a developmental, it allows you to develop more because you have specific people that are there to help you with this position or this. So I think he gets the quarterback position, and I think he, as you mentioned with Chip Lindsey, I think they're going to be a good tandem together. But he'll be a good get for Auburn. And I can't think who just left to go to South Carolina. I can't think of
Bentley.
Okay, that is who I thought was going. Like, this is what Blackman's doing now is what I thought he was going to do. I was really a big fan of Bentley's. I thought that he would be somebody that was going to probably eventually get some type of coordinator's position long term with Auburn. But really good job on Coach Blackman. So I know it's on a small scale in terms of what his position is, but he'll be heavily involved in what's happening on the offense.
I wonder if Opelika High School will make a call to Ben Blackman and say, "Come on." Now. I wouldn't want. I mean, Spanish Fort's a hard place to leave.
It is, but they're
which one's older? Which one's younger?
I think Ben's the older brother.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, though, or this is just the talk of people, but a few of my friends live there, and a friend of mine who's from Opelika and his family's pretty heavily connected with the program, and said that don't think the wife is necessarily in support of leaving the Spanish Fort area. So that could be
if the wife's not happy.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing there. So maybe some suiting done on her part could bring it in potentially. But that'd be kind of a good story though if he did take that job. But that'll be the biggest job. I mean they'll get national attention for that job open. So it'll be a 6-figure job probably. So I don't know.
Well, it'd be interesting. Bring him over, let him coach for a year, and then join the Auburn staff as well. Right?
There you go.
Well, Auburn brings in Casey Dunn, not the baseball player, I guess he still coaches at Sanford, but people have been talking about bringing Casey Dunn in for the baseball program for 10 years.
Yeah.
But this is a former walk-on at Jacksonville State. Now he turned into a two-time All-Star, a two-time All-American center for the Gamecocks, actually out of Hewitt-Trussville High School. 6'3", 290 pounds. He got hurt, I think, as a sophomore maybe or a junior. So he petitioned for a 5th year of eligibility. He got it. So then he's decided to transfer as a grad transfer to Auburn, where he'll pursue, some sort of engineering degree or master's in engineering. But an interesting guy to come in to play the center position. Of course, Austin Goldson filled that role last year. Actually started out, I think, tackle, moved back to center, and just seemed to work better with him at center. But I don't know if it's his desire to move outside or if it's Herb Hand's desire for him to move outside. But interesting that you bring a guy like this in. Do you think Casey Dunn starts at center for Auburn?
I would have
not that difficult question.
Well, no, it's not. But I'm just trying to really think about what we've done the last 2 or 3 years, where we've brought in people from and that we've thought were going to be major contributors.
Yeah, it didn't work out,
and it didn't work out. So on the surface, to answer your question, yes, I think that the plan is for him to be the starting center. However, we'll see what happens from now until then, because you look at somebody like a T.J. Neal, who there was anticipation of because of what he was able to do there and coming in, no production at all. Now, granted, they were better players, clearly, than him out there, so that may play some of it too. But I would anticipate him being the starting center, yes.
Well, if nothing else, it creates more depth for your offensive line. And Auburn's going to have to replace your left tackle and your right tackle, I guess. So, that having a guy with Golson's experience to move outside, then you got some different options there. And you've got guys that you have redshirted and brought up to the program that are now redshirt sophomores. They might be ready to go into Caleb Kim. They've been grooming him to take over the center position for a while now. So, like I say, if nothing else, it creates some quality depth on your offensive line, which is certainly a good thing. But anyway, we'll certainly keep an eye on those things. Those things are always interesting in the off season. Auburn will actually begin spring practice, I think, Tuesday. We just turn around, Scott, and now my goodness, it's already spring practice again. But we'll go ahead and take another break. We'll come back and we'll finish out the show, talk a little bit about maybe Kendall Graven. Looks like he's going to have a great year for the Oakland A's this year. Don't go anywhere. More right after this.
For over 60 years, people in East Central Alabama have relied on the team at Jackson Refrigeration for the highest standards in heating and air installation and service. Now they've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, and you can still count on their reputation to make your comfort their priority with quality Goodman products with the best warranty in the industry. Whether it's new construction or a complete unit change, Jackson Refrigeration and A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the go-to team for over 60 years, where your comfort is our priority.
Let me tell you about Satterfield. Check out the beautiful showroom at Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alexander City. They have a great selection of outdoor grilling lines for your entertainment needs. Name brands like Big Green Egg, Lynx, Blaze, and Sabre are just a few. How about those grill basins? Also, lawn equipment by Shindawa, Echo, and Husqvarna. Power tools by Makita, and a great line of Carhartt clothing. All of this in one location. Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alexander City. Stop by and visit today. Satterfield.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Vice. We treat you nice. Vice Motors. So many choices, new and used. Friendly service from our family to you. Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Vice Motors.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
February is Heart Month, and Russell Medical reminds you that simple tests can save your life. Take a moment for your heart and schedule an appointment today to take advantage of discounted rates on 3 important heart screenings: the Calcium Score CT Heart Scan, Stroke Prevention Carotid Artery Ultrasound, and a Heart Echocardiogram. All are non-invasive and take just minutes to complete. For further information, contact Community Relations at 329-7145. Follow your heart to Russell Medical.
Walls Tires. Every cowboy knows that the place to go for your automotive needs is Walls Tire. Highway 280, just a mile past the River Bridge. Whether it's routine maintenance or repairs, large or small, Brian Walls and his dedicated staff at Walls Tire get you in and out fast with quality work at the best prices around.
You gotta go to Walls Tire, baby. Drop that back and the sunshine shining. Walls Tire, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Closing things out here for you today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Andy Graham and Scott Hardy here with you. Kendall Graven beginning his, is this second or third year?
This will be his third year.
Third year with the A's. And
yes.
What did he end up last year?
He was 10-11.
Okay.
With a little over 4
No
yards.
run support.
0. I mean,
terrible defense.
It is.
It continued. I mean, but it did some really interesting things. Actually hit cleanup, I think, in Yankee Stadium. Something nobody had ever done since Babe Ruth, I think. But he's got an opportunity this year to continue to improve on that, on his consistency a little bit. Hopefully, maybe he can get a little bit better run support and he'll be in line for a pretty nice contract in the upcoming years, and couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, and we were talking about it before the break, and everybody who's followed the show obviously knows how close Michael, Adam, and I are with his brother Kyle. So we've seen this kind of progression always happen, and we've seen him on the baseball field forever. But truly is a hard-working individual. He was the 2016 Player of the Year for the organization. He had the opportunity to bring his dad out for the Coaching Game Changers Award. That was a big thing there. So from a from a PR perspective, he's getting to be more well-known, at least within the organization itself. So the fan base knows who Kendall is. And I think that with that, if you accompany that with the success that I anticipate him having this year, I really think so. And something, too, like the benchmark kind of for a starting pitcher, if you can get to 200 innings, that's kind of like, okay, we know now that you've solidified yourself as a starter. He was at 185 last year. I would look for that to kind of probably be somewhere around there again. His win total, I could see him being a 15-9 guy, 3.85 ERA, 3.75 ERA, and that's very, very serviceable in the major leagues. But as you said, from a contract standpoint, I think that he'll probably have to go through arbitration next year. He won't get the deal that Sonny Gray got in terms of a 3 or 4 year deal, but I think he looks somewhere between the $2-3 million mark next year, and sky's the limit after that. Adidas really likes him. That's his endorsement company, so we'll see. It should be a lot of fun to keep up with him this year.
Absolutely. Certainly wish him the best and future success as well. Baseball can be a fickle thing. Injuries, it's such a long season, such a grind.
Are you a baseball guy?
Oh, love it. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorites. I mean, it really is second favorite sport for me besides college football. But absolutely. But anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap up Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown this afternoon. Certainly hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the weekend and a great upcoming week. We will not be live on Tuesday night due to the AHSAA basketball playoffs, as the guys will be doing those games throughout the week, and Michael will be so caught up in doing everything that he has to do. But again, we appreciate so much all of you out there joining us today. I'll be back with you next Saturday, and we'll do it all again. For Scott Hardy, I'm Andy Graham saying so long for now, everybody. We'll talk again soon.
Beethoven was a genius. He had 32 sonatas.
At Hyundai of Auburn, we have 122 sonatas, so 90 must go now. And how do we do that? Give you radical once-in-a-lifetime offers you can't possibly refuse.
Beethoven sonatas are sweet music.
These Hyundai of Auburn prices are sweet music to your ear, too. You want $2,000 cash back? Got it. 0% interest? Sure. Pick it. Total savings as much as $4,800? Claim it today. No payments for 90 days? Why not? If it's possible, we'll do it.
Beethoven's 32 sonatas are the perfect number.
So 90 Hyundai of Auburn sonatas must go now. One last offer. We'll give you the same pricing that supplier employees get. A-Plan. Suspicious? Too good to be true? Make us prove it.
Beethoven composed great music.
Hyundai of Auburn composes great deals.
All with Hyundai Assurance and America's Best Warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain. Pick the offers best for you. HyundaiofAuburn.com.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
Are tires and car repairs sexy? No. But when you shop for tires, maintenance, or AC service at S&S Discount Tire in Alex City or Dadeville, you'll find they're the total package you'll take home to meet mama. With S&S's selection, fast turnaround, and quality work the first time, you'll get the long-term relationship you've been looking for. Start an online relationship at sandstire.com. The tires and car repair total package.
Toddlers aren't the only ones going through potty training. At A&M Plumbing, our techs train intensely for toilet, bathroom, and whole house plumbing. So if you have a plumbing problem and want to hire caring, skilled professionals instead of your next door neighbor's brother-in-law, call A&M Plumbing at 256-234-5260 now. And of course, we're potty trained in the most scientific sense of the phrase.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.